So, we've got Pete, our undercover hero, who's sneaking around NYC's Polish crime world like he's in some intense game of hide and seek, except the stakes are, life or death. He's working for the FBI and is getting dangerously close to the big bad boss, the general. Side note, what is it with crime bosses always getting cool names like that? Makes you want to ask, where's Private Steve? Pete's playing it smart and takes his family on a surprise vacation to keep them safe. You know it's bad when your idea of a fun getaway is a sketchy warehouse. But hey, desperate times, right? His boss, Erica, is a tough-as-nails FBI agent who's got this whole sting operation planned out. Pete's job? Hand delivers 6 pounds of fentanyl to the general. No big deal, just another Tuesday at the office. To keep his family safe, Pete tells his wife, if I'm not back by tomorrow, take the kid and run. He drops this like it's some casual dinner plan. Erica, meanwhile, gives Pete all the gear he needs. A phone for updates, a wire for recordings, and a secret signal if things go south. All he has to do is ask for a cigarette. Apparently, nothing screams help, quite like pretending you need a smoke break. Now, Pete and his buddy Stasic meet up with a diplomat to swap the fentanyl. Everything's going smoothly, but here comes the twist. Turns out Stasic isn't just any partner in crime. He's the general's nephew because clearly, keeping it in the family is just a mafia thing. And instead of handing over the fentanyl, Stasic decides to surprise his uncle with some cold hard cash. Gotta love a last-minute gift change. Sorry, I know you wanted drugs, but here's some cash. Hope that works. Pete's freaking out on the inside, but he can't show it or his cover's blown. Next stop, a shady club where they meet the buyer, who's, a little short on cash. He's got enough for half the drugs, but needs a couple of hours to scrape together the rest. Stasic's ready to blow a gasket, but Pete, being the smooth operator he is, calms him down, probably by reminding him that the guy still has a better chance of paying up than most people at a garage sale. While Stasic steps away, Pete tries to warn the buyer, spilling the beans about being a cop. And here's where things get real. Instead of running for his life, the buyer pulls out a badge too. Plot twist. Everyone's undercover. It's like an episode of Undercover Boss, but with a lot more guns. Things go sideways when Stasic panics and shoots the buyer. In a rush, Pete signals for backup by asking for that cigarette.
You gotta smoke a cigarette.
You'd think he could have asked for a cappuccino instead, right? But in another surprise, Erica drives right by, leaving Pete to deal with the mess. Talk about being ghosted in real life. With no way out, Pete helps Stasic clean up the crime scene. Now, here's the fun part. They meet the general at a sausage factory. Yep, that's right. They're literally in a place where things get stuffed into sausages while Pete's getting stuffed into a horrible deal. The general calmly explains that because a cop is dead, someone's got to take the blame. He spins it like Pete owes Stasic big time, and his payment? Pete has to go to prison and run their drug operation from inside. Sounds like a 5-star vacation package, right? The situation's even worse because the general casually reminds Pete that his family's safety is on the line. Back home, Pete contacts Erica, but she's more interested in the big picture than getting him out of the mess. And even though Pete told his wife, Sophia, to leave, she sticks around to help clean up because nothing says, I love you like scrubbing blood stains together. Am I right? Meanwhile, Detective Grins, who's on a mission for justice, finds the dead cop and starts piecing together the story. His investigation leads him straight to Pete. Things get even messier when Pete's cover is blown, but his bosses still want him to go along with the general's plan. They ask him to willingly get himself thrown in prison to gather evidence. Pete's choices are slim. He can either spy on the gang from behind bars or take the blame for the murder of a cop. Tough call, huh? Before heading off to jail, Pete spends some time with his family. Of course, the general swings by for one last chat, dropping a not-so-subtle reminder that Pete better follow through or else. Meanwhile, Detective Grins, ever the stalker, spots the general leaving Pete's place. The next day, Pete and Sophia stage a fake argument, leading to Pete's arrest, right under Grins' watchful eyes. In prison, Pete's welcomed with open arms by a corrupt guard, prison hospitality, and is shown to his lovely new home, a bunk bed. Thanks to some prison politics and a well-placed bribe, Pete's safe for now, surrounded by a crew of African-American inmates who've got his back. And just when you think it couldn't get crazier, the prison warden, acting on Erica's orders, pulls Pete into a cleaning program. Because when you're undercover in prison, why not add janitorial duties to the list? Inside the prison, Pete finds himself part of a new family, as the Polish gang members hand him a shiv, prepping him for an inevitable fight. Meanwhile, Detective Grins is still sniffing around for clues, so he decides to pay Erica a visit. She's not having any of it and keeps him in the dark while her boss, Montgomery, jumps in to defuse the tension. Grins, however, isn't backing down and drops a bomb. He's got surveillance photos of Erica and Pete on the day her friend was killed. This spells trouble, as the FBI and NYPD could end up clashing over Pete's involvement. Outside the prison, Sophia is playing her part, following Pete's instructions on how to sneak in supplies. With the help of a drone, she manages to get the package delivered straight to Pete, who's on cleaning duty inside. Grenz, still on the hunt for answers, visits Sophia at work. She stands her ground, refusing to give him any useful info, but he leaves his card just in case she changes her mind. Meanwhile, Pete gets a heads up from Grenz, warning him that his prison gang might not be there forever to protect him. Grenz suggests that Pete might need to spill the truth about the undercover cop's death to save his own skin. Speaking of prison politics, Phelps, the leader of the African-American gang who runs the drug scene behind bars, isn't thrilled when he finds out Pete's stepping on his turf. Things heat up, and Pete, in a desperate move, confesses he's an undercover FBI informant aiming to take down the general.
I'm here to take out the general. I'm here to take out the general.
Surprisingly, Phelps lets him off the hook and even offers to help if Pete can manage to stay alive. Back at FBI headquarters, tensions rise as Montgomery orders Erica to abort the operation and pull Pete out, fearing the consequences of Grenz closing in on their secret. If the NYPD learns the truth about the undercover cop's death, Erica's career is at risk. Montgomery makes it clear that disobeying will result in her taking the blame. Meanwhile, in prison, Pete receives a list of key players in the drug network from one of Phelps' men. With his mission nearing completion, Pete calls Erica for extraction, but she ignores his plea, prioritizing her safety. Desperate, Pete contacts Sophia, urging her to give Grenz the tapes of his conversations with Erica and flee. Erica, trying to cover her tracks, meets with the general's lawyer and learns Pete's undercover identity has been exposed. She confronts Sophia and confiscates the tapes using FBI resources. Listening to her broken promises to protect Pete's family fills her with guilt, leaving her conflicted. Inside the prison, Pete's cover is blown. During an attack by a Polish gang member, Pete manages to defend himself, killing his attacker. He then takes a corrupt guard hostage, using his sniper skills to demand media attention from a prison tower. Outside, Stasik has cornered Pete's family. Grenz arrives and manages to take out one of Stasik's men, but is shot in the leg. Just as Stasik is about to kill Grenz, Sophia frees herself and shoots Stasik, though she's wounded in the process. Back at the prison, snipers have taken their positions. Montgomery arrives, ready to order a hit on Pete as soon as he gets a clear shot. In a final phone call, Pete reassures Sophia that he'll make it out alive, but the call is abruptly cut off by Montgomery. In a bold move, Pete switches clothes with the corrupt guard and steps into the sniper's view, holding the guard hostage. Montgomery orders the snipers to shoot, but a stray bullet hits a CO2 tank instead, causing an explosion that plunges the prison into chaos. As the smoke clears, Erica arrives, and Montgomery informs her the job is done. But wait, there's a twist. Firefighters will Pete out of the prison, disguised in the guard's uniform. Erica, not ready to let Pete go just yet, stages a fake hostage situation to help him escape, slipping him a phone and a note before he bolts. Later, we see Erica and Montgomery on a ferry. Erica reveals that she knows Pete's location, and Montgomery orders her to kill him. But here's the kicker. It's all a setup. Erica has been recording their conversation, exposing Montgomery's corruption. With Montgomery arrested, justice is served. Pete, now with new fake documents thanks to Grenz, shares a final glance with Sophia before disappearing into the shadows once again.